In sports, if you want to be the best, there are no off days.
It's the most wonderful time of the year with Chris Jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. That's the one thing that'll put me in bad cheer is and I don't even know if that's a word, but is someone telling me to be of good cheer. Let me just get there naturally.
Bad cheer is an oxymoron. I like it.
Well, we are in good cheer because we are stepping into the month of December. Of course, we are counting down the days to Christmas. Are the lights up at the house?
Partially.
The Christmas tree out?
My neighbors love it because I have this half-done display around my porch in my yard.
We got some time.
It'll stay that way until mid-December.
Yeah, like
then we'll kick it in.
Nativity scene. It's just like Joseph and Mary.
It's just a donkey, really.
Okay,
all
just
I
a
have,
donkey
and
so
it's a live one, which always throws neighbors off.
Keep it on the leash, please. I see that it's championship week and you're paying homage.
Yes, and for our video audience, our visual audience, you may say, "Oh, Trojans." Cato's a big USC homer. Look, let me extend this a little.
Oh, boy.
Look what we've got. The true Trojans, the men of Troy University, my alma mater, playing in that Sun Belt championship game against Coastal Carolina.
Oh, man, this is a big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since they won one, since my Trojans won one. You know, App State kind of took over the Sun Belt for a while, but Troy has won 9 in a row ever since losing on that walk-off Hail Mary to App State, and they're in a good position here.
In a great spot. I've been to that campus. Back when I was in college, I was traveling through, and we stopped in Troy, Alabama, and I went to, I believe it was an establishment, a watering hole called the Front Porch.
Yes, there are only 2 bars. And
I'm glad I got one of them.
Yeah.
If I missed the Front Porch. And you know what? When I got in there, you know what song was being played by a live band? Sweet Home Alabama. I kid you not. It was iconic. So there we go. All right.
I'm glad you left your mark on my alma mater. A lot of people don't really travel through Troy. I wonder, you had a bad GPS or something back in the day?
It was pre-GPS.
Okay.
It was the Waze app or what. Yeah, I know.
Got sidetracked.
Yeah, we were on our way down to Florida, actually, for a little spring break.
Spring break.
Speaking of spring break, let's bring in Brian King in the
king
booth.
of spring break.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, party animal back in the day, and now that's why he's so reserved these days.
Many a wet polo shirt contest he won.
Oh, come on now.
I said polo shirt, not T-shirt. I made you sound more respectful.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Brian, with that, welcome on in, and we apologize, but we have a big show, and we're going to be talking a lot of college football.
It's a great show, yes. We got Gus Johnson.
Oh, man.
Could be the voice of college football, college basketball.
For me, he is.
I think so. He will be joining us. He'll be calling the Big Ten championship game this Saturday night and give us his insights on how this college playoff should shape up, I believe.
Yeah, he's just this ability. Like, every play is huge. Like, you're in the kitchen making a snack, you hear Gus, like, just going off about something, you pop your head in, and then you find out, oh, the running back made 2 yards. But it does it makes it all really exciting.
Yeah, well, I like that. I mean, I think it draws the viewer in. And, it really, for the team of rooting interest, when he's on the call for a touchdown for your team, man, that touchdown never tasted so good, right?
You love it.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got a little Gus, and I know we're going to be hitting college football pretty hard today, but we are like in the middle of World Cup season. Is it fair to call it that?
The most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah,
like Scott does not know. Nonstop World Cup with Scott around the office there.
Yeah. Is that tongue in cheek? Okay.
No, you
I see
love
where
the
you're
World
coming.
Cup.
You threw it all off with the wet polo T-shirt contest.
No,
highly inappropriate. And now we got a salty BK for the rest of the show.
Now this is what we have to deal with.
He's looking to land some haze.
No,
okay.
No, hey, I'm going to test your knowledge with a World Cup / geography quiz.
No, this should be.
Oh
a disaster.
no! Why did he have to throw the
Why
did you throw
both
the
of your
geography in?
wheelhouses?
Oh my goodness!
So we'll do that at the end of the show. See how well you know the World Cup and the countries that are playing in it.
Oh boy!
Now, geography, that's the study of minerals and rocks.
You're off to a good start.
Okay. All right. I'll be ready.
Yeah. Right now we're trying to find where Troy is located on
my
a
old
map.
science.
My nephew actually attends Troy right now.
Does he?
Fellow
Yes.
Trojan.
Why don't you get his name out there so everybody can?
Chandler King.
Chandler King.
Chandler.
Yeah.
Is he going to be at the big game? Troy's hosting it,
Yes, he'll be there. He went to every game except there was one game he didn't go to.
The one they lost.
Yeah.
probably.
No, but he was at the So he's a proud Trojan.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Well, I hope his degree does for him what mine has done for me, and he gets stuck on a podcast.
Stuck?
In 20.
This is not stuck.
I mean, honored.
This
honored
is,
to be on a
yes.
podcast.
This is the royal seat, my friend.
No off days, Chandler. Just remember that.
There
You'll
you
get
go.
none after you graduate, so enjoy it.
If you want to be the best, there are no off days, as we know at this point. All right. Very good, BK. Thank you so much. We'll check in with you a little bit later. If you are listening, you want to watch, go to fox13news.com/nodpod. And if you're watching and you'd like to listen and subscribe, we would encourage that. All you need to do is point the camera of your smartphone at that QR code. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that will take you it'll take you caroling along your merry way, the streets of Nod, and you can click listen there. All the shows are there, and we hope that it will put you in good cheer. If not, at the very least, it's like grandma's fruitcake. You know, it's reliable. We're there. I don't know if you're going to consume it, but
Right.
you know, just
It's there.
And
It's nutty and it's solid, and you should have a slice.
what kind of the candies that are inside those things?
We don't like those things, do we?
Yeah.
Have you had one, though? There's some that are kind of soaked in some goo that's good. Here we go with goo again, just like the
we have
pecan pie.
common themes.
But
Pitbull, Alabama, and goo.
Yes. We can't get away from. You mentioned caroling. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had someone show up at your house caroling?
No, I would love that. I would love that,
I
actually.
picture you as the kind of guy that goes caroling.
My wife wrangles me every once in a while to do it. You know.
Really? You
Yeah.
guys, okay. People
We've
still
done
do
it.
that.
We've done it before. Yeah.
Are people shocked when the famous Scott Smith shows up belting out, "Oh, come all ye faithful"?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope that they're shocked. Yeah, a little surprised.
Is it just because you're wearing mistletoe when you show up?
Right. No, I'm wearing the Uncle Eddie, the Dickie under the turtleneck there.
Right,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So as mentioned, World Cup fever is running hot and heavy right now. Team USA out of group play. This was to be expected, Chris. But fans getting riled up, and they're excited to see this young team as we kind of learn about them as we go, because not many people are super familiar with with international soccer and the stars that are on this team, but they're learning quickly. But I love how it kind of runs in stark contrast to what we just came out of, which was political season. This is kind of like a solve for the nation a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
it feels like the Olympics, right? Like we may not know who is on, the U.S. Olympic hockey team, but it's our country. We're going to get fired up and support them. I feel, and we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago. Sometimes I feel a little fake because I'm not a huge soccer fan.
Oh,
But
I thought it was because of the makeup you wear.
You're glad I put it on this week. I didn't put it on last week, and we got our lowest ratings ever. No, I feel like I'm just trying, like it's my country, so I didn't grow up with soccer on all the time, but you still want to get behind your country and cheer them on, right? And you're proud of these guys, and hopefully you do learn some names as you go along and develop some heroes, right?
Well, that's always kind of the question when I see folks gathering for these 2 o'clock kickoffs, or Saturday it's a 10 a.m. kickoff. Are these real soccer fans? Do they really know it, or are these just folks that are looking for an excuse on a middle of the day on a Tuesday to kind of skip work and go hang out?
Well,
at
there's
the water
nothing
hole?
wrong with that. First of all, it's a great excuse.
And that's part of it. But you mentioned kind of what would it require to have kind of sustained growth. It's never going to, in my opinion, ever reach the heights of football, college, or NFL. Even baseball as kind of a national pastime. But I do think that it can make some inroads, but I think what it would require is sustained success. I mean, you can't have a team that misses out on qualifying 1 year and then comes back 4 years later and it's an entirely new team. And I think this is a good opportunity, because right now you have a young group of players. They are kind of pointed toward the future. Of course, with the World Cup coming to North America the next go-round in 2026. I mean, this is a real opportunity for this team to go out and compete. And they could do it this year as well, but I think that you have to string maybe, 2 or 3 World Cups together with a consistent group of guys for it to really rally support. Then these guys become, everybody knows Christian Pulisic, but, all the other guys on this team will become household names by then.
And I would venture to say that a lot of us didn't know the name Christian Pulisic 2 months ago, right? So we kind of studied up and we've kind of enjoyed seeing him play. And it's interesting that the U.S. women's national team has done exactly what you're talking about in the past. You know, they had such sustained success that, Brandi Chastain, Carly Lloyd, Megan Rapinoe become kind of household names, and you kind of know what you're getting when you turn on the TV and you see that team playing.
Well,
so
and it comes down to success on the pitch, right? Like if they can buoy that into, becoming a national story outside of the games themselves, that's exactly what the women's team did. And that team held together for years, and they were, they were very good. And so that's what this men's team can do and should do if we want to see, a little bit more familiarity with the national team, right?
Yeah, exactly. To reach the level of passion that it carries, that football carries in England, or Europe, I should say, and South America, probably never going to achieve that in the United States because we're
a country of distraction.
We are. Because we have cornhole. No, because we have so many other sports. Pickleball's getting big. Yeah, but honestly, it's what you grow up with, right? And so if your mom and dad are huge football or basketball fans or baseball fans, you're going to naturally gravitate toward that. And we live in a football country here in the United States. But that's not to say there isn't room for soccer to make some inroads and grow, like golf did, when Tiger Woods took it to another level.
Yeah, I mean, I think your parallel to college football is something like, my grandpa went to Notre Dame, my dad went to Notre Dame, and my name is Rudy Rudiger, and I'm ready to play. No, but I think it's that. You're not just rooting for a team.
Yeah.
So right now you're rooting for kind of patriotism. You're rooting for the red, white, and blue, but what makes that passion really entrenched is when you're kind of like, it's a lineage. It's a family thing that's been passed down. They represent your city, your locale. It hits a little bit closer to home. So, but all that being said, I think that it's an exciting time for U.S. men's soccer, and we hope that this World Cup run goes a long way.
Yes.
But the king right now is college football, and we have hit championship week, Chris. So we have 4 teams that are currently set for that playoff, and they are all poised to be potentially knocked off this weekend. Whether that happens or not, we're not sure. But if everything holds pat, I mean, you're looking at your top 4 teams being Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and then USC. As long as they can win this weekend.
Or not. I believe that this weekend should really be about seeding. I don't think if any of these teams lose that they should fall out of that top 4 because of the way that the season is.
Because these aren't real games, or
no, these are real games.
Okay.
It's for a conference championship, which is of course very important to those teams and their fans that are playing for that conference title. That will always be important. But this season, in terms of its impact on the national championship picture, this weekend is almost meaningless, I believe, because I think these 4 should not be punished for playing an extra game against a good team while someone, possibly in Ohio State, sits at home and rests up and hopes to sneak in.
But it's not about punishing or rewarding. It's about finding the right team, right? It's about the team that is most deserving. And so if you throw an extra roadblock in the way, the best team is going to still overcome that roadblock, right? So it's one more game. It's a privilege to be able to play in this. It's a privilege to be able to play for a conference championship. I do still think it carries a lot of meaning. But I mean, we're looking at a comprehensive resume of a team. If you lose, whether that's an extra game that another team didn't have, I mean, because you can go down everybody's schedule and say, well, this is a really light roster or schedule of teams that they filled their cupcake week with Mercer or some team that is an obvious victory. So the bottom line is whatever your lot is, like, you have to prove that you are the best team. This is another opportunity for it to be proven.
Why?
And I do think if a USC goes down, if a TCU goes down, I think that opens the door for Ohio State to creep in.
It probably will, but it shouldn't, unless those are extremely ugly losses and USC and TCU lose like their starting quarterback for the rest of the season. I could see the committee saying, okay, if they get blown out by 21 points, but still, what you just did there was you tried to apply logic to college football, and there is no logic. So let's do this exercise. If the committee right now says, TCU and USC, we believe you're worthy of being in the top 4, why should they have to go and prove it one more time, as you said? Why should they have?
Why should they have to play for a conference championship?
Why should they have one more? You used the word obstacle put in their path. If they're worthy now, what makes them less worthy if they have this one more obstacle and don't get across that hurdle?
What makes them less worthy would be a loss, right? So it's another opportunity. I look at these as opportunities really more than Like, do I have to go out and play? I mean, they have an opportunity to go win a conference championship, which says a lot about your program. It's something that every coach, whether they win the national title or not, if they're Pac-12 champs, if they're Big 12 champs, like, they're going to be boasting this. This will be part of their recruiting effort.
Yes, we agree.
In the offseason.
Conference championships are important, but playing for one and putting it on the line again should not get you out of the top 4 when there's a team sitting at home that doesn't have to face that obstacle.
What are you trying to figure out?
Well,
at the end of the year, what are you trying to figure out?
The committee's job is to get the 4 best teams. Okay.
Right.
And I would say if you are one of the 4 teams that has survived in advance, especially in TCU's case, when knowing they don't have the brand recognition that these other programs do, they've been surviving and advancing since week 6, knowing that if they take one loss, they're not going to be considered for that playoff. So I feel like...
But take your team, Alabama, not Troy, sorry, your other team. If you take Alabama and you look at their schedule, the games that they lost, the margin of that loss, the quality of the conference that they're in, do you feel like that stacks up against a TCU? The bottom line is, at the end of the day, we have to gauge them on the resume that they have put forward. It's never going to be comparing apples to apples. You cannot compare a TCU and their schedule to, the schedule that a Georgia or, any other team really in the SEC has gone through.
Well,
it's not exactly the same. So, I mean, that's just part of it. So sitting here saying, well, one more game is the equivalent in my mind of saying, well, but how can you?
You need to go
look
prove
at these
it
other
again.
Conferences.
Yeah, you need to go prove it, TCU,
you gotta
because
prove
your
it.
best wins are over Kansas State, number 10, and Texas, number 20. They have better wins than Alabama. I don't think Alabama is the example you want to use there.
But the point is, I'm saying that if you compare a strength of schedule, like it's never going to be the same.
Strength of schedule.
But I mean that's
some of these metrics.
That is what you're talking about. That is what when you're talking about having to play an extra week, you're talking about adding to the strength of schedule.
But why should they have to add to their strength of schedule when they've gone through this already?
So you
gauntlet?
think that conference championship week should simply be a pass?
No.
Whatever the result is.
No, this season's different. We've had seasons where you had to make a choice because let's go back to when Penn State had 2 ugly blowout losses at home to Iowa and Purdue, won the Big Ten championship in 2017. Bama didn't play for its conference championship but had 1 loss, and you were left comparing those 2. The choice was that Alabama's resume was better. And so this season's different, though. This season, these 4 teams have gone through the gauntlet. The teams that are on the outside looking in don't have, I believe, Ohio State has an argument. Alabama doesn't.
I don't think that Alabama does either. I think that Ohio State is the only team that can step in if one of those 2 teams, TCU or USC, loses. And again, for TCU, I think it would have to be a pretty sizable loss. For USC, I think they lose and they have 2 losses on their resume
to the same team.
I think that they're out. Okay. I mean, I just think that's. I think, unfortunately, that is the case. Okay, so we have conference championships.
So Ohio State would
I don't
go
know
in.
how else to level the field to where every team plays the exact same and then still give importance and value to conferences. But this is the problem. This is part of the push that is going on in college football is to devalue the conference. It's to devalue the kind of the locality of what you're playing in. That's why you're having these mega conferences. Yeah. That's it's going to be. They're going to be an entity unto themselves outside of the NCAA grasp, and I think that is. I think there's a value in winning your conference. The reality for a team like TCU or USC is that may be as good as it gets. And you know what? They may not have a chance against a team like Georgia that seems like they have the inside track and they're going to take out whoever gets in their way. But I think that this week is important. I think teams still have to prove it. It's not that you have to play a conference championship game. It's that you get to. And this is a great opportunity for them to go out and bolster their case once again. Well, and if USC goes out and thumps Utah and TCU just squeaks by Kansas State, then maybe maybe they move up.
Flip-flop there in the
and
fourth.
now they have a game against Michigan rather than a game against Georgia in round 1 of the semifinal. And so I think that there is a lot of value, a lot of
Well, that's
shakeup
what
that
I
still
said
can
in the
take place.
beginning. They should be playing for seeding. That's all these 4 teams should be doing is playing for seeding. You've got your 4.
Yeah,
play
you got
for
a 5
seeding.
seed that has a case.
Well, I don't
that's
think
all
they
I'm
do.
saying. All right, let's move on. This
No,
is
okay.
what do you have? One
Well,
more.
I just wanted to say that I think what would make these championship games even more meaningful is when we do get to a 12-team playoff, then you have teams that are playing in these conference championship games like North Carolina that are maybe just on the outside right now that could, if they beat Clemson, maybe they have an argument for getting in to a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I think you're still going to come up with the same type of issues, just with a wider net when you go to a 12-team. And I'm for it. You know I'm for it. I would go for beyond 12 teams because I love the playoff format. I think it's the best way to determine a champion, and it's the best viewing. It's the best experience for fans because you're getting good on good, and it only gets better. And so I love that, and I think a 12-team playoff. In fact, the good folks over at Sports Illustrated put out their little what it would look like this year if they had a 12-team playoff. And you got opening round games, 8-9 seed. You got Penn State, Clemson. 5-12 would be Ohio State, Tulane as the lower of the group of 5 schools, the highest ranked. You got Tennessee, Kansas State right out of the gates. Alabama and Utah.
Oh.
So I think that they're now you're
That's
intrigued.
a good one.
Right?
Yeah. Is that one played on? Those are played on campus.
I believe
that's exciting. Yeah.
And then you have first round buys for all the top 4 teams, and those second round games are. I mean, those are really tantalizing. So I love 12 teams. I can't wait for it to get here. But I think that the point that you're making is still going to be an issue because you're still going to, unless you want to draw up a plan to where you just completely eliminate conference championship games, it's still gonna have an effect. It's still gonna have an impact. We're gonna be talking about those teams that are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Sure, the argument will
2,
shift
3, 4,
just
5.
as we do with March Madness, and it's who's number 69 and 70 on the outside looking at.
All right, can we talk a little of the coaching search because some of these jobs have now filled up, and I want to get your thoughts on what you think the best hire has been to this point. So I'll do a quick recap. Hugh Freeze to Auburn, Luke Fickell to Wisconsin, Matt Rule to Nebraska, Kenny Dillingham, the OC from Oregon, taking the Arizona State job, and Trent Dilfer pulling a Jeff Saturday playbook. High school coaching experience, takes the job at UAB. So those are the jobs that are filled. The jobs to this point, as we tape this show, that have not yet been filled. We still have Georgia Tech, Colorado, Stanford, USF, Cincinnati, FAU. I might be missing some, but I believe that's kind of your wide swath. So of the jobs that have been filled, what do you think is the most home run of a hire?
I'll go in. I'm not going to comment on the Trent Dilfer hire yet. Let's wait and see at UAB.
Hey, look, I did a little research.
I'm sure you did.
UAB is going to bring back a lot of seniors this next year.
Well, it's been a good program.
Well, they went 6-6 this year. I think they have a chance.
And they're moving to the American Conference,
right?
The
American Conference. Yep.
All right, so I'll go in reverse order here of how I think the big splashy hires over the last weekend were. So I've got in the 3 slot Matt Rule to Nebraska. Yes, he's a builder. He's proven that at Temple and Baylor. The question is, at Nebraska, to have success, can you get great players? They haven't had a great player since Ndamukong Suh was wiping quarterbacks off of his cleats. So that will be the telltale there. But, wow, what a sweet deal he got. 8 years, $9 million a year. That's I think they paid for his Carolina buyout as well. Yeah. So I don't like the economic terms of that one as much. What happens if he flames out in 3 or 4 years? But anyway, in the number 2 hole, I'll go Luke Fickell, Wisconsin. Didn't see that coming. I think that's a great hire. He's a Midwestern guy. He knows how to recruit the area, and he knows how to play that kind of smash-mouth football that Wisconsin has such an identity with through the Barry Alvarez years. And I think the best hire, the best fit is Hugh Freeze at Auburn. He's done it before in the conference. He knows the conference. He knows how it works. He knows how to recruit there. Some of the things he got in trouble for through the NCAA recruiting-wise are now legal. So, he doesn't have to worry about that as much. Yes, some of the things. And he's, most importantly for the Auburn fan base, 2. That's the only number you need to know. 2 times he beat Nick Saban. So I think that's a slam dunk hire by Auburn, as much as it pains me to say that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think that the Hugh Freeze hire will reap the quickest rewards. I think he's going to jump right into SEC recruiting, and I think he's going to start winning. And I see that this Auburn team, I think they'll be nationally prominent once again within the next year or 2.
Do you think he'll beat Saban again?
I think he'll beat, sure. But whether that to me is not really the gauge for success.
Because Alabama's bad now.
No, Alabama's very good. But I think that ultimately rising up in the SEC will take a guy that knows how to do it like a Hugh Freeze. And I think a home run hire, I know a little bit of a shady past. He seems to have come back hat in hand, kind of used that time at Liberty to take a program that was nothing and that made them a national team, cracking those top 25. So I think it's going to be a home run hire, and I think he's going to reap the quickest rewards. The one I'm most intrigued by, though, is Matt Rule.
Yeah.
And how that's going to work at Nebraska. I mean, they have not had a winning season since 2016. They have not won their conference since 1999. This is a team that was a powerhouse.
Oh.
I mean, national titles under Tom Osborne in the 90s and in the 80s, perennial power. And it's a sad indictment of where they are. Bo Pelini, they would cry for Bo Pelini right now.
Should have never fired him.
I mean, his worst season was 9-4. He took them to a bowl game every year.
Yeah.
He was there for 7 years, and it was because he didn't meet expectations, didn't win the big games. How far they have fallen since then. I think they are still somewhat of a sleeping giant, but man, Matt Rule has his work cut out for him. And if any program ever needs a builder, it's that program, and it's right now. So we shall see. I mean, I think that his reputation tarnished a little bit about what happened in the NFL, but we've seen coaches that have tried the NFL and it just didn't work. And I think that Matt Rule is going to he's a quality college football coach and a quality recruiter. And so I'm really intrigued to see what he does in Lincoln.
And with the transfer portal, more things are possible now when it turns to quickly building.
And to your point, Luke Fickell is a great hire at Wisconsin, too. And I think probably the one of the more intriguing openings that's out there is the job he leaves behind at Cincinnati. They move into the Big 12 now, and I think that Cincinnati could be a really – I mean, that's a riser program for sure. I mean, they've been on that trajectory for a while now, but now I think it's a really interesting job.
Don't you hate, though, how the calendar has kind of forced coaches – maybe didn't force, but they walk away, like, as their teams are still playing in the season, like – I don't know. That always kind of stinks.
Yeah, but you say that game's meaningless anyway, right?
The conference championship game? It is this season. Oh, Cincinnati's not in their conference championship game. But I've said when he announced, they just lost to Tulane, it's a distraction is all I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of distractions. All right. What do you say we talk about it a little bit more?
Why not?
Well, our guest is one of the most unmistakable play-by-play voices in the business, and he is the man here at Fox. We welcome in Gus Johnson. Gus, happy December. I trust that your Christmas shopping is all out of the way, and that you were probably in line Black Friday, 4 a.m. Is this correct?
Not even close. Haven't even started. I got so much to do. I'm a last-minute guy, though, so I'll get out there and get my family some stuff.
Looks like you're still in the hotel. Are we having waffles yet?
Yeah, we got to have some waffles, man. As soon as I get off with you guys, I'm going to eat some waffles at this Hampton Inn. It's quality service. You get to a Hampton by Hilton, and you go in there, and you got a great modernized room. You get some rest, get up in the morning, get yourself some breakfast, and eggs and bacon. Wakey, eggs and bacon, and some waffles and orange juice and whatnot, and get out and have a great day. And that's what's important. That's why I've developed this relationship with Hampton by Hilton, and it's a wonderful experience for you and your family to make sure it's an affordable situation. So HamptonByHilton.com. Check it out when you're traveling during this holiday season.
Wow. Gus, anything that you sign your name to, I'm on board with. I won't miss a game that you're calling. And now it's no coincidence that now my favorite commercial is you in Hampton by Hilton, because you can ask anybody around here. I'm always walking around yelling waffles.
Yeah,
waffles. I mean, people want me to work that. People want me to work that into a call. I don't know if I would sound crazy. A guy who makes a basket and I say waffles.
No,
I don't know.
What about if referees are waffling over a call, like they can't quite decide? Was it a catch, not a catch? You're like waffles.
Yeah, that's right. Waffles. I don't know, man. We got to figure out a way to work that in.
New tagline. So you were in Columbus last week for the big game, and Michigan, Ohio State, a little bit of a surprising result there. When you look at this Wolverines team as they are poised to step into the conference or the championship playoffs, what do you see? Do you see a team that is poised to potentially knock off a Georgia?
No.
All right.
There's college football.
No, this
and
is
then
true.
There's Georgia.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? There's college football, and then there's Georgia. I love what the Wolverines are doing. I think they've improved. I think they learned a lot from last year's defeat to the Bulldogs in the college football playoffs. But the Bulldogs are the defending national champions. They are rugged. They are physical. They have a system. They are disciplined. And they are clearly the best team in college football. So, hold your horses. I know that Michigan was happy about going on the road and defeating Ohio State, a very talented football team. It was a wonderful win for the Wolverines, especially the way they played in the second half. But it's going to be hard to beat the Georgia Bulldogs. From a psychological perspective, they know they're the best, the defending champs. And in order to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And that's not going to be an easy task. I think the Georgia Bulldogs, when all the dust settles, they are going to be hosting back-to-back national championships this season.
Oh, well, let's not go that far down the road, though. Let's talk about how this is setting up as we head into conference championship weekend. And hopefully, if Michigan's fortunate, they beat Purdue on Fox on Saturday night, and they don't have to face Georgia in the first round of the playoff. And perhaps it's that team that they just blew out in the horseshoe, the humiliation in the horseshoe that we all watched, that still has a chance to sneak in there. Gus, how do you see it? If TCU or USC should stumble and lose, does Ohio State have the credentials to sneak in there and get that fourth spot?
Well, first of all, TCU and USC are going to have tough games. SC's taking on Utah again this year, and they have one loss, and that loss was to the Utes in Salt Lake City. Now, they're playing a neutral site game in Vegas, so that's going to be a tough game. Kyle Willingham is a wonderful coach. As for TCU, undefeated, they're going to move over, basically play a home game in Dallas from Fort Worth. But Kansas State, they will grind you. They're a tough team. That's going to be a tough game. Ohio State, in a good position. I think that if one of those teams lose, Ohio State will get in there. And it's hard to beat a team twice. Mm-hmm. So,
they're going to Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Is there a conference championship game that you're most leery of this weekend that you think maybe we could be on upset alert for?
Both of those games.
Yeah.
Kansas State, TCU. It's hard to play undefeated. TCU's going to be tight.
Yeah.
They got to go out there and play their best game. And Kansas State, there's not a lot to lose, but there's a lot to gain in terms of winning a conference championship. Same thing with USC. USC's defense is not very good. They were exposed by one team, that's Utah. So I think there's an upset alert for both those games. Michigan a little bit better. Obviously, Georgia is the best team in America.
Gus, as we look ahead, we all want to, fast forward and get to the era of the 12-team playoff. And, that certainly has exciting possibilities. But let's look back at the game you just had, Ohio State and Michigan. 17 million viewers. More people tuned in for that game than did the England-USA match on Friday. If we were in that 12-team era, do you believe there would be as much interest in a game where we would know that both teams are getting into the playoff?
I think there's going to always be interest when it comes to college football, and I think what we're doing with college football is just wonderful. This is the evolution of the game. A 12-team playoff, I think, is going to be wonderful. It's just going to be fun. Other teams will have an opportunity to get into the playoffs and potentially compete for a national championship. The intrigue will be there. I just love the direction that we're heading in. Great broadcast networks, conference realignment. It's all working. It's all fitting rather like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for it to continue to expand. I want to see more teams get an opportunity. It's going to make the fan bases have an opportunity to travel, or even if fans have a chance to host a home game.
Yeah.
It's just going to be wonderful. So I don't find anything wrong with what is happening. It's just going to take some time to figure out, the particulars moving forward.
Gus, you mentioned the Trojans real quick. Is Caleb Williams inside track? Is it his Heisman to lose?
I don't know. J.J. McCarthy, I think, has emerged. For me, I'm a Heisman voter. Here's a kid, played his best game of the year in the most important game of the year. I think Caleb Williams, he might be the front runner right now, but C.J. Stroud was the front runner last week. Caleb Williams has to win a big game at a neutral site in a championship game and play well against a tough team. I think he will. I think in the end, he probably will edge out the younger J.J. McCarthy. Well, not the younger, will edge out J.J. McCarthy because he came on a little bit later. But remember, you got an undefeated team against a team that has one loss, and I think Heisman voters are going to pay attention to that.
Yeah, Williams has been amazing. Gus, before we get you out of here, I got to throw this at you. You have this innate ability, this signature sound in your voice that makes every play, even the most routine quarterback scramble for 3 yards, sound like the game is on the line and it's coming down to this. So, and I'm embarrassed to say this almost, but I've been listening to you broadcast for years. Sometimes you're the soundtrack of my mind as I go through the mundane portions of my life, and I'm trying to make these routine things seem a little more exciting. So I'm just going to, please, if you would indulge me here, I would like to lay out a scenario for you. This is what I'm doing today, and I want you to give me the play-by-play with this. So here's the scenario. These are the players. It's trash day. I haven't put my trash can on the curb yet. I hear the truck approaching. It's coming down my street. I have my pajamas on. I need to get it to the curb. There's a skateboard in the driveway. Go. Please give me that play-by-play.
Trash day.
Oh, my name's Cato, by the way. My last name's Cato. I need to hear you say that.
Okay.
All right. Trash day for Cato. Tell you what, he's got his pajamas on. Walks to the trash. Very, very sleepy as he gets up early in the morning. Oh, he slips on a skateboard.
Oh, no.
Bam.
No.
Falls on his keister. Here comes the ambulance.
Oh, no.
He's done for the day. Somebody call his wife.
Oh, no. Why didn't I see that skateboard?
Take
Wow.
out the trash. The great Gus Johnson, he can call take out
You owe
the
me
trash day.
$20 for that, though.
Yeah,
you
no,
owe me
for
$20.
sure.
Put it on
I want
my-
you to send me $20.
Put it on my Hampton bill.
Very good. All right. Very good. Gus Johnson, thanks for time this morning. And, of
right,
course,
guys.
check out Hampton by Hilton. Thank you so much. That's quality.
That
Good
was
stuff.
nice of him to do.
You've never taken out the trash with such eloquence and excitement, actually.
It's going to be so exciting the next time I do it, and none of this happens.
Look out for that skateboard, man. Chris, I'm ready for some breakfast now. Are you ready?
I need the waffle, the batter that you go to at
the
the Hampton Inn, the batter machine. You fill the cup up. I need that in my home.
Yeah, no, that's a quality piece of. Not many people use their waffle iron. I mean, I think a lot of people have one.
Yeah.
But it just kind of sits there. I think we should bring that out.
I just want to drink the raw batter, I believe.
Okay, that's kind of gross.
As you're adding up your Cato Christmas list, this is one thing you can put on
Just
it.
waffle batter.
The batter machine.
Okay, all right, we'll put it in a Gatorade bottle for you. You can squirt it on in. All right, here we go. Let's squirt BK on in.
Oh, no. What are we doing?
Brian, welcome back in. Did you enjoy Gus? We enjoyed Gus.
Gus was cool.
Yeah.
Gus was really cool.
He's always funny. I love the trash can story.
Yeah. Do you feel sometimes, Brian, do you hear Gus's voice in your mind as you're making the kids' lunches and you're wondering if you just gave peanut butter to the kid who has the peanut allergy? Do you hear Gus kind of cheering you on and saying,
Bad decision.
Yeah. King, anaphylactic shock. Oh.
Cut the crust off.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little World Cup here. I'm looking forward to this quiz. I feel really good. I've been studying up on minerals and rocks, and I'm ready to have you fire one at me.
Here's what we're going to do. There's 32 teams in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Next year it's going to expand. They're expanding their playoffs. I'm rolling in the next World Cup to 48. So anyway, what I'm going to do is give you a question about the country, and you tell me what the World Cup team is. But I'll give you a little hint. I'll show you a picture of this country, okay? So you'll know. You can look at the map and see what country it is, and you'll know the answer.
Is it a picture of something famous in the country, like
No.
the Eiffel Tower?
I think we're just going to have to play the game to figure this out.
Just do it.
All right, here we
Okay,
go.
we're going to start off. Let's start off with an easy one here. This country's defending World Cup champions. It's the most visited country in the world, and once had a king whose monarchy lasted 20 minutes. Shorter than this podcast.
Well, that would be
Come on, y'all know this.
King Gilbert, and his reign was, 20 minutes, you said?
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to him.
Taxation without representation.
Plague?
Not very good. I'm going to say France.
It looks like Michigan to me, but I will also say France.
And France is correct. Good job.
All right.
There you go.
Next up, this country is playing in its 8th World Cup, including the last 6 straight.
Oh, it's a skinny one.
This team's nickname is the team itself has a nickname. We should do a story on these because all these teams got cool nicknames. Their nickname is the Selection of the Keenas, which I think is kind of cool. Has a player who scored in 5 World Cups. It's the first player ever to do that. Can you name this country?
I'm going to go Portugal.
Wow, man.
I also would say, just based on your pronunciation of Keenas.
Did I miss?
I would no. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'd say Portugal as well, and that player would be Ronaldo that you referenced.
Yeah. Good job, man. Wow, man.
You thought you were
going to
like
California for a little bit. It just didn't have the same tilt. Yeah.
Okay.
Portugal.
All right, here we go. I got to get tougher here. This country is the southernmost country playing in the World Cup. Beat the United States the only time the U.S. made the World Cup semifinals, and currently has probably the most popular player in the world.
I know this one. Do you want to
Oh
go
my
first?
goodness, y'all know these.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Ivory Coast.
No.
Guatemala.
Guatemala. I think Guatemala is landlocked. I think as you go around that southern.
How do you know that this one's not landlocked?
I can tell you what this is. It's in South America, and as you go around that southern tip there, you would be going through this. You'll be going to Antarctica, right? So this is.
So is
this
that your guess?
This is Argentina.
Let's see it. Boom.
Give me Argentina.
There you
Oh,
go.
look at that.
Come on. Okay.
Hey, I thought it was bigger than that.
I probably had it scaled wrong.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
finally.
Michigan.
That's Michigan.
There's
for sure.
Michigan,
Yeah, you see
finally.
the
This
UK.
country's playing in its 8th World Cup. Now, this team has the best nickname of all the teams, I think, in the tournament. It's called the Indomitable Lions, this team.
England.
They are from the first team from Africa to make it to the
like I s-
quarterfinals.
Like I said, Senegal.
Did you say their nickname again? Did you say the Abominable
The
Lions?
Indomitable.
Oh, Indomitable Lions. That's a hard one for me to say.
Abdominal. They have really good core
You
strength.
said it's in Africa. I don't know any other country that's in the World Cup from Africa other than Senegal. So
is it DR Congo?
I'm going to say Senegal as well.
What is it? Let's see it.
We're both saying Senegal.
It's not Senegal. It's Cameroon.
Cameroon.
They're the Indomitable Lions.
Okay.
You want a bonus one real quick?
Give me bonus.
What country in the World Cup has the largest amount of coastline?
Currently in the World Cup?
Yeah, well, as of taping, they just got eliminated.
Can we have a shape, or would that give it away?
The shape would give it away.
Oh,
It's perfectly round.
it's
It's spherical.
it's Michigan with the coastline of the Great Lakes.
Australia.
Australia? Cato?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going with?
It makes sense. It's surrounded by. You know what? Let's just think outside the box here. Let me run down some of these other
Oh, boy.
countries that aren't
Coastline.
landlocked. Well, Argentina we just saw had a huge coastline. Yeah, it probably is Australia. Is it Australia?
Show it. No, it's Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, all these little lakes and inlets and stuff
Oh my
like that.
goodness.
Oh, well, see,
That's-
now I wasn't considering the lakes.
I thought you meant habitable coastline. No one can live up
Yes.
there where those. What is that? The ice caps?
It's a coastline. Always stipulations here. I said.
Rich fishing territory, I'm
Oh, they
sure.
have
So there you go.
a great national anthem.
You said Canada was eliminated, though.
They got eliminated from the World Cup. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
Do they have a nickname?
The Maple
The
Leafs.
Mighty Maples?
They did. I can't recall it.
Well, I
It's-
guess it's up to the U.S. now to carry the banner for North America, right?
I got a pop quiz for you.
Go ahead.
Who is holding up the globe on the World Cup trophy? What is holding up?
What is holding up?
Yes.
It's 2 soccer players.
Exactly.
Is it the hand of God? Is it Maradona
It's
holding it up?
No, it's not Maradona, but it's 2 soccer players.
There you go.
Yeah. Is it
Someone-
hollow
I
or
haven't
is it
looked at
solid?
this. I have not looked at this trophy. Let me look at this trophy.
Well,
Oh, you know what? It's not a cup.
It's not a cup.
it's not a cup.
Why isn't it a cup?
It should be a cup. I mean, it is the World Cup. It should be the best cup in the world.
Oh my goodness! The original trophy was stolen in 1983, and never. Who would do that?
I think that the World Cup trophy should go to the PGA Championship, and the Wanamaker Trophy should become the new World Cup. What do you think? Can we get that deal done?
That would be more. It needs to be a cup.
Yeah,
no?
or at least a claret jug. I mean, a jug cup. We're
Some
kind of
vessel
the same. Yes,
of liquid.
Got to be able to drink out of it. Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's hope that this cup is resting in the United States. This cup that's not a cup is resting in the United States when all this is said and done.
Well,
Let's hope so.
I'm glad that we all learned a little bit about geology here today on the podcast. Thank you, Brian King, for all your time and
Thanks,
attention
guys.
and that great pop quiz. Big thanks to our guest, Gus Johnson. And, of course, a big thank you to you for wearing that T-shirt
Well,
and
thank
representing your humble university. We wish them best in the Sun Belt Championship this weekend.
Go Trojans.
They're going to get it done. All right, to watch full-length podcasts, head to fox13news.com/nodpod or hit that QR code that's on the screen right now. You can subscribe on all the places where you get your podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, etc. And, of course, you can find the show on the social media channels.
It's there, too?
There are clips and ways for you to find us. If you have not found us by now, well, then who are we talking to? There we go. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you for watching. And until the next time we are on, there are no off days. Waffles!
Happy holidays.
Man, let's go get breakfast. Hungry.